In Eastern geomancy, there's what we call figure placement or figure pointers or figures indicators. So basically, they are called placement or pointers. And placement or pointers of figure placement basically is talking about how some figures quickly give us an informations to what we are inquiring about, which means that with those pointer, we might not necessarily use coida in order to what to derive the answer we intend to get. What do I mean by what coida? Coida is simply a way of what adding one particular coida in terms of what geometry, simply talking about a way of adding a particular house together in order to derive an answer to the query that is being asked. It might maybe you're asking a question about what relationship, it might ask you to add a particular house together. Your final answer will then determine if what the relationship will be good or bad. So that is just a primary example of what corridor. Or let's say you already know how to interpret geomancy. You understand? So you know what you want to interpret whenever you want to ask a question. But when you talk about there are times that there are already some certain placement of figure that has already appeared on the chart, or that are already standing on a particular place on the chart, that is already giving you answer. That doesn't mean that, which means that you don't necessarily need to go through, you don't need to necessarily need to do the proper interpretation of the chart. That is, maybe you want to add a particular house together, or you want to look at the house, or you want to look at the perfection, or look at one or two things together. You don't need all those again once you find those pointer. And that is one of the things I want to discuss in this, or that is the basic thing I want to discuss in this video. Although we cannot discuss the totality of the pointers or figure placement, because it's just too much. It's not something that we can discuss in just a video. But once in a while, I might be discussing some placements of figure that give us an overall answer to what we are inquiring about. I've just explained part. I've shown us some pointer or some placement of figure in some previous video. So this is another video to show us a pointer or placement of figure that could easily give us an answer to what we are inquiring about. So which means that once we find those pointer, it gives us an overall view to what we are inquiring about, or it even give us the direct answer to what we are inquiring about. Which means that once you see those pointer, we might not necessarily need to start looking using corridor, or to start looking for one maybe perfection, or to start interpreting the chart one after the other in order to get the answer we want, because those pointer will already give us the answer we want. So in this particular video, I'm going to tell us what a pointer or figure placement that usually indicate that a particular problem is generic. That is, or that a particular problem that querent is facing is from one family lineage. There are some times whereby maybe somebody is facing some challenges about life, whereas the source of that problem is from the family lineage. And this could be in terms of what spiritual, and it could be in terms of what health. Sometimes somebody is having some particular diseases or some particular ailment or some particular sickness, and when you trace it down, you realize that that particular problem the person is facing, or the health problem the person is facing, is from the family. You understand? But and there are times it might not be health, it might be maybe spiritual, some challenges about life. And when you trace that challenges, you realize that that thing is from the source of that challenges or problem is from the family lineage. Do you understand? But so how do you then know if a particular problem is either in terms of health or in terms of spiritual, that is challenges? How do you then know if it is from spiritual? Although if you want to do your proper interpretation, there's a way you can do that. But once you find some figure placement in some places, that already will give you an answer. So that is how do you know such information without necessarily needs to interpret the chart one after the other. So now, anytime you cast a chart about related to maybe somebody is having health related problem or facing challenges about life, blah 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 like that, and you wish to know maybe the thing is from family or they are about, so you might have your proper way of doing it. You don't need to. But once you find this pointer, or you find this particular indicators, or you find this particular figure placement, just know that the problem either in health or in challenge, depending on what the person is inquiring about, just know that is from the family lineage. Then what is that figure placement? Immediately you find this particular figure in house 9. This is Albus Bayado in Eastern Geomancy. You find it in house 9. It's automatically telling you that the problem or the challenge, either health or whatever, depending on what the person is asking about, is from the family lineage. Whenever you find it in this particular album in house 9. So, but the question might there be, what if you don't find it? Then you use your normal way, the way you normally know how to interpret a chart. You use it to find out whatever you are inquiring about. But this placement, whatever you find this, you don't need to go all through the length before you can find your answer. This already give you a sharp answer. You understand? This is not the other there are some other indicators that also give you this particular information as well, that when you find it. But this is the one I really want to discuss in this video. And in the subsequent video, I may be discussing some other or give us another sharp pointers to is a way of answering this. The help of this pointer is to cut the process, to reduce the stress or the time frame to which you get a question answer. Because once you see those sharp answer or sharp pointer or sharp placement of figure, you don't need to be going length and wide or disturbing yourself to it if that is the things you wish to know. You understand, ba? So I hope this particular video helps. So thank you for listening to the video from point A to this point. Thank you very much. May God bless you miraculously.